All right, family. It's that time. It's that time. It's the truth hour with General Sarah Suit said he kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. Today we got a powerful one, family. We're dealing with the Sumerian height, a not out of Africa mythos exposed. Got this my monitor popping, family. Let me get my monitor pop. Got to deal with this. Too many of y'all out here, you know, too many of y'all out here, venerating with these modified Hebrew Israelites. They modified. They modified. And they trying to latch on, and y'all let them latch on. You know what I'm saying? Y'all let them latch on. Cause you ain't learned yet. You ain't learned yet. You ain't learned yet. Let me get it. Let me wait a minute. Hold on, fam. Okay. Let me. I got so many down. Come on in, family. Come to the light. You know how they say, y'all like that. Come to the light. Let me get my monitor together. I don't know why. What's going on? What is going on here? That's all right. I ain't even about to go through this right now. General Setty. Here we go. Bingo. Here we go. No, a lot of people mad at me because they know I'm about to get on this Sumeria shit. You know what I'm saying? That's all right. Got to pay the price. Got to pay the price today. You know what I'm saying? And so y'all know what time it is. Let me get my bearing here. Y'all know Sunday, May the 8th. We're gonna be getting down with the Black Woman is God, Mother's Day edition. I'm so, ready to do my thing like nobody can do on the planet. I'm ready to do my thing and venerate the African goddess, the Black Mother. Like I've been doing for all my life. You know what I'm saying? And this is one of the greatest lectures I ever put together. And it's over 20 years in development. So it's very profound in a way that you're not gonna see nowhere else. You're not gonna see the imagery, and it's just shocking. It's just off the chain how profound it is. And so I'm, Sunday, May 8th, put mama and granny in them, let them see this. Let them see it. Do what you do, but let them see it. You know what I'm saying? Put them in and and let the general, operate. Let the general operate because I'm gonna be on my best behavior, but I'm gonna be all powerful in venerating the African mother and goddess on that day. And so they can get some information that they've never heard before. You know what I'm saying? That they need to hear. You know what I'm saying? And and I'm knowing, that it's gonna send an energy and a spirit of divinity, all across the viewing community. You know what I'm saying? So hit that link, get your ticket, you know what I'm saying? And have them sisters and the mothers in the house. You know what I'm saying? Make sure they in the house. Have them niggas in there too. You know what I'm saying? Get their ass in there so they can get this information. So they can get on their goddamn code. Because they off code today. Ring the alarm, kingseti.com online marketplace. Right now we got 15% off going into Mother's Day, so you can get mama something nice, some African jewelry and comedic jewelry. We got tonics for the mother and for for the family, but it's Mama's Day. So y'all make sure, and a lot of people say, nigga, and I don't got nothing bad to say about no, but Mother's Day is every goddamn day. But there's some days that are more sacred than others. And so, as long as you venerating the African mother and you ain't all in with, and you separating her greatness from her, and make sure you speaking to her with all respect and veneration to her greatness. Any day and every day should be a day of high regard for the African mother and woman, black woman. You see what I'm saying? And so you can get on over there to KingSeti.com online marketplace, DVD lectures, t-shirts and hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics and remedies, home decor, incense and oil, much, much more. Get on over there. And these are some, the products that we got, just a few. You know what I'm saying? We just a few. We got a lot of African sets with the necklaces, the bracelets, the earrings. We got all type of beautiful thing. We got some for the china cabinet. We got them African plates. You know what I'm saying? You can put in the living room, put it in the dining room. They come with the They also come with the cup holders, man. These is exquisite for the family. You know what I'm saying? So get on over there. We got something for you. SETI University. Matter of fact, I ain't even putting my let me get my banners up there. I'm out of pocket. I ain't even got my banners up there. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. GeneralSETI.com, SETI University. You see what I'm saying? Over 800 videos and lectures, presentations, too raw for YouTube. The making of the white man series. You need that, nigga. All the debates, because all world religions exposed, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, this ism, and that ism. We deal with all ancient history, Egypt, Ethiopia, Ghana, Songhai, Mali, Monomopa to South Africa, all the way to the Naga, Hindu, African Kush in India, and to the furthest extremities of the South Pacific, even to the so-called Americas. We deal with all world history, all the great lectures. Every lecture that you didn't even know existed is on that site. And so we didn't put Netflix out of business. You see them motherfuckers didn't drop down damn near 35% because King said GeneralSETI.com is putting their ass out of business. Black people have seen that is more powerful information on GeneralSETI.com, and they leaving all that bullshit out there. Hulu and Netflix and all that bullshit. Get on over there, family, and get that knowledge. It's waiting on you. Okay. And to my Patreon, man, I got some hot ones coming up. Tonight, I just dropped the secret genetic experiments, human animal hybrids. Nigga, it could be you. If you out there taking them damn shots, nigga. You out there taking them shots? Okay. You done been told. Your motherfucking ass wake up in the night, nigga. You feel hair growing. Oh shit. Motherfucker got hair growing out his motherfucking back and shit and all. Like, damn, man, I feel extra hairy and shit, motherfucker. I told you, nigga. They done went in there and sent them nanos in there. They done sent them nanos down there and they done modified you, dog. I told you, and I keep telling you, don't listen. Clipping DNA code. They got the payload on the motherfucker drop. Got a payload of animal DNA and shit. All that. And then motherfucking clip your DNA code, put in some modified synthetic shit. And nigga, you wake up, nigga, you a GMO. You a genetically modified nigga. You ain't even a nigga no more. And so I want y'all, and it's sick because they've been doing it for so long and people don't even, man, some of it I was like, wow. the levels that they didn't even before today. I'm just talking about even in the time of damn Stalin and Hitler, you know, they was, I mean, god damn, they was using their own people as guinea pigs. And so the shit that they attempting to do even back then is so sick. It almost make you want to vomit. You know, it almost make you want to vomit. And so, you know, you check me out on Patreon. I got that one upcoming on Patreon, the 7 greatest power couples of ancient Egypt. I'm loving this. You know what I'm saying? Showing, you know, the blueprint of, you know, how we got to get our, you know, the love of the black man and woman got to get their love back for one another, man, on a level of divine divinity and understanding that this is a, you know, this is about a divine nation, and we got to bring this back together, man, by any means necessary. And so, where, you know, peoples is out here promoting all, and it's gotten so sick, but the only way you can wipe it out is by showing the blueprint of greatness that we, you know, and continue and go hard in the paint, go hard, and that's how I do. You know, I don't leave it, you know, just, you know, to put no facts. I come with the acts. You know, I make motherfuckers responsible for their history and their ancestors, and this call that is that the ancestors has blessed us with, the call of responsibility that the ancestors that blessed us with. You understand the mantle that we must take up today and fulfill by any means necessary. And this is not a game. This is real. And so I'm loving this one. And also, I just did on Sarah's channel, how Zeus, our mom, became the comedic devil. But this one on Patreon coming up is uncut. Okay, this the uncut version. So you better be ready. You know what I'm saying? You know, you better be ready for that one. So get on over to my Patreon, become a patron today. Make sure if you're on my YouTube with all my YouTube channels that you know you subscribe. Y'all, you already know SETI Live is lit. You see what I'm saying? SETI Live is lit. And so you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, Sarah, Soon SETI, General SETI, and King SETI. Hit that notification bell so you know when I go live, you know, and even if you do hit it, they still might not notify you when it come to me. And give the videos a thumbs up, like it because you love it. You know what I'm saying? And so what are we dealing with today? Let's get on down into, you know, what a lot of people don't really know about, you know, this Sumerian, this you know, this Babylonian thing, you know, that, you know, and you know, that they don't really understand, you know, that they really don't understand. And it's just like I did the video on how the Germans created world history. You know, that y'all got to go back and check that out. You know what I'm saying? What a lot of people don't understand. Before Egyptology, before Egyptology, you know, the study of choice, the study of choice was Orientalism. You see, they wasn't looking to Egypt, they wasn't looking to Africa as the cradle of civilization. You know what I'm saying? They was looking to Asia. You understand what I'm saying? That's the narrative that was coming up out of the Bible. And just like Walter Williams said, they was using the Bible as a history book, even though it's not no goddamn. It's some history in it if you understand it and able to peel that shit out of there. But 95% of it is lies. And so if you know the 5% of it that can be, you know, that can be interpreted and shown to be truthful, then you're a very wise individual. You see what I'm saying? The rest of that shit, the other 95%, you could immediately take it to the nearest garbage can and insert it and leave it there. And you'll be better. You'll be better off if you do that. So what a lot of people don't understand, that the first study of choice was Orientalism. Now, why is that necessary to know? You see, because once Napoleon and the English and the Europeans conquered Egypt. Well, Napoleon conquered Egypt. And, then the true understanding of the ancients was known to the European world. They didn't have no true understanding of the power of ancient Egypt. And so, they over there in fucking Iraq and shit and over there, and ain't nothing over there but mud mounds. You know what I'm saying? They got some mud mounds over there. And then when they go into Africa and they truly see the greatness of Egypt and Nubia, and you understand, and all these, these temples and pyramids under the sand, them motherfuckers hightailed it up out of Iraq. You can hear them motherfuckers burning rubber up out of Iraq because they was over there spinning their wheels. They was over there spinning their wheels. You know what I'm saying? Even to this day, you ain't finding nothing in Iraq. They find this shit over in they find this shit over in Africa, in Egypt every day. Boatloads. And so you see, and so what I'm gonna bring you to an understanding about how they rewrote history, really, right after the printing press in the 1400s, is a wrote history. You understand what I'm saying? To they understanding. You see, to they understanding. This is not no ancient script. This is a modern script. And it came, even, with the printing press, and then what they call the age of enlightenment and shit. Yeah, who's enlightenment? They goddamn enlightened. You know what I'm saying? And I don't tend to use that word because it got an ill prefix and it's not truly beneficial to somebody who not into a negative energy. You see, because all light is not divine light. And so we say enlightening, and so on, or, illuminate. Well, really, that's the illuminate. You know what I'm saying? But enlighten, I guess, you can use enlightenment. I guess you can use that term. But, and so I started to see how these people was making shit up as they go. And when they got the power of the printing press, they didn't have no books. They people 90%, not 90, damn near 99% of the European population was an illiterate. They didn't have so they didn't even have no need for books. And so when they did write books, they put dates in them. They didn't have no arguments coming from the illiterate population. They adopted the dates that the Europeans put in them for face value, that they was true. They didn't have nothing else other to go on other than what was put in the book. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, I'm going to show you how Sumeria became to be the civilized, even though they know Egypt. But the thing is, why they couldn't really push, even though they knew that Egypt was 1,000,000 times greater than anything in Asia. Period. I don't have to debate with nobody. You can believe whatever the fuck you want to believe. You see, the thing is, they had already said that Egypt was black. See, that's where they fucked up. When they know, when that's one of the truths that they did put in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? But they controlled the narrative of the book to show that the Africans were cursed by God and so on and so forth. But they did show in the Bible that Egypt was black, that he was brother of Ethiopia, which they don't show that in what they call academics. They try to show that the Nubians and the Egyptians are actually two different races. But in the Bible, it clearly stated that Ethiopia, which is Sudan, and I want people to understand that. You know what I'm saying? So that, the hybrids out there that ain't got no, they don't have no loyalty or commitment to Africa. You see what I'm saying? They don't have no, they ride with the lie. You see what I'm saying? And I state that too. I have no problem getting on their head because they ride with the beast, they ride with the lie. You understand? We have to expose them nonetheless. So when you speak of Ethiopia in the Bible, and to the Greeks, Ethiopia was Sudan, was Nubia. Okay? And so that must be clear. You know what I'm saying? So in the Bible, Ethiopia, and once you understand that Nubia, you talking about black, the pitch black. You know what I'm saying? You can go to Sudan and them, them is some of the darkest of our people. You see what I'm saying? And so you see in the Bible, Ethiopia and Sudan are brothers. You see, they're brothers. Canaan, which is modern day Israel, they brother. How you go if your brother is Sudanese, that already show me what you are. And see, so that's why when they went into Egypt, see, they had already spoke them truths. They had already, but then when they went in and actually seen the civilization, they say, damn, we cannot give these black people this credit. Cannot give them this credit. We already said that when we came to Africa, they was rolling around in the dirt, throwing mud pies, running through the motherfucker jungle with a damn grass thong on and shit, and with a bone in his, motherfucker got one string of hair on his head with a goddamn, a bone in it and shit, and this, that, and the third. This is what they taught about African people. And so they couldn't go back on that. They had already spoken it. And so they continue to still promote the biblical lie. That's, that civilization came out of Asia, primarily, or Iraq. You know what I'm saying? Which is, was the ancient Sumeria, the ancient Babylon, and this is where Abraham. And so that's why, when you hear them talking about Sumeria, the reason why they promote Sumeria, because this is where the mythological man Abraham come from. Even though when you break his name down, within his name, you find the root of Ham. And see, the thing is, what you got to understand also in the Bible, when you're doing your research, that Ham and Egypt is synonymous. You can almost, in certain instances, they both, they could, you could say it and it means the same. Even in certain passages, I believe it was in Psalms, Egypt was called the land of Ham. You see, it was called the land of Ham. And you even understand that Ham, in the definition of many Judaic and Christian encyclopedias, Ham means black, burnt. Okay, that's what it means. And so we have to also see, so if your daddy black and then your brother is black, Sudanese, and so we already know with the Canaanites, we already know with the Canaan and the Egyptians and all those tribes that connected to them. Now the stories is bullshit, but the bloodlines showing that they was African was 100%. See, they was 100%. And so, and those were the mightiest civilizations. When you read about Jacob and all them motherfuckers still out in the desert with goats and shit. You talking about the Egyptians, the Canaanites, the Ethiopians, and they were deep into civilization. See, they was deep into civilization. So, when you talk about, see, this is showing how they created that shit and force-fitted a civilization of people that were millions of years older than the so-called Semitic peoples. They force-fitted these two peoples together. And yet they got a myth that say that they developed at the same time. I know that they got off the boat at the same time. We know that's a lie. We know that's a lie. If we got off the boat at the same time, how's the Africans over here got all these nations and shit? They didn't develop into government, into rulership. and all into military, organized militaries and shit and all this organized religion, masonry and all of this, and you still over there fucking with goats and shit. Y'all ain't developed no further than shepherds living in tent. You know what I'm saying? And so this is when you see that they actually force fitted a real people and a mythological people. And you trying to say they developed at the same time, which is it's impossible. It's fucking impossible to say something like that. But this is what they trying to push. And so, when you talking about the areas that they call Sumeria and so on and so forth, Iran and Iraq, yes, these are some of the early African colonies, but they never, ever, ever reach. You talking about that area didn't even reach the level of Oxum. It didn't. You talking about Sumeria didn't even reach the level of Songhai. You know what I'm saying? And Mali, it didn't even reach that level. And we just got to be real about it. It did not reach that level. You know what I'm saying? Of massiveness and scope. You know what I'm saying? And scope, and I just got to be real about it. Now, there is some African genius that is there. And I can't deny that all either. But in comparison to the other great civilization, it's minuscule. That's just like when I go to India and I look at India, I can tell what's African. I can tell. Because I don't just say, I break down the Masonic geometry. You understand what I'm saying? And show the Masonic geometry and show many of the the spiritual prostrations and symbols that come, and it ain't just one or two. You understand what I'm saying? The deities and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? And as great as India is, the Africans, the Naga Kushites that was in India, they still cannot compare at all. It shouldn't even, don't even try. Africa got more shit that didn't fell down than motherfuckers got standing up. You understand? We ain't talking about the temples and shit that's standing. Africa got more shit that didn't fell down. That still, you can still see it, even if it fell down. See, the thing about ancient Africa is that everything wasn't on top. So, you got a lot, you got the temple above ground, you got temple below the ground. You know what I'm saying? So even though the top of the temple could have failed, or the pyramid, the temple up under it could be totally intact. You see what I'm saying? And so, I have to state that, a lot of times we over philosophize about, and it's some philosophizing niggas. When you trying to boost Sumeria up over Egypt, and like I say, I'll give a shout out to it, because even in the Bible, it states that was founded by the Kushites. And so once we understand that the Kushites, in reference to Ethiopia, is Sudanese, and that Africans is African. But see, there's something, when you got some peoples in Africa that want to be Semitic, and they don't want to be African, I can't really fuck with you. I want to fuck with you, but you don't really want to fuck with me. That's really what it boils down to. You don't want to be African. You want to be Semitic. You want to be Afro-Asiatic. You see what I'm saying? You want to be something different. And so that's why I had to clarify that and emphasize in total clarity that it's Sudan. You see what I'm saying? That the Ethiopia of the Bible, the Ethiopia of the Greeks and the Romans is Nubia, Sudan. Okay? And so when you say that, and they say is that, which is Kush, You see, which is also another, the Greeks called it Cush. You see what I'm saying? So within the Hebraic, which is coming out of Africa, you understand, is Cush or Kosh. You see what I'm saying? Or Kish, which was the first capital of Sumeria or Babylon, Kish. You see, which is nothing but Cush. And so you got to understand that that's Sudanese. You see what I'm saying? So I understand the root of it. You know what I'm saying? Who were the founders of that civilization? And then there came a time where it was overrun. It was overrun. It was overrun. Like even to the day, it was a time just like Egypt was overrun. You know what I'm saying? But the root of it, but not at all can you say that's where civilization, because there's no way for you to explain the greatness of all the things that you see in Africa by way of Sumeria. It's just no way. They never constructed in stone. They did have, but when you see the stone, like, some of the stone pillars and the stones, that was after, you got a advanced colony of Africans coming. That's not that original. You understand what I'm saying? That's not that early Sumeria. That shit, they was laying mud bricks. So when you look at the ziggurats, you can go there today, and I got some, I got some some pictures. You see this shit right here. You know what I'm saying? You see that right there. Man, Saddam Hussein built that shit. That's mud brick out there. You know what I'm saying? So when you talking about them ziggurats, you talking about mud. They played in the mud. And whether it's African or not, I have to show people, when you see you look at the bottom and you see some form of brick that's modern. See, what Saddam Hussein was trying to do is he was trying to modernize all that over there. You know what I'm saying? I got the pictures where they was laying the bricks. You know what I'm saying? So you see that shit, and niggas think that shit that ain't been. That's mud. What you see in the middle, all that's what so there's no way you can explain Egypt by way of Sumeria, because they never when and that's why when we talking about Masons, you know what I'm saying? You got all this term Freemasonry and shit. All of that shit is philosophical. When you talking about masonry, you talking about stone. You talking about, cutting and squaring stone. You know what I'm saying? And so it is Imhotep, who constructed the Great Pyramid of Saqqara. The first, the oldest that's still standing. And many say the first that, and I it's hard for me to, use that term first in Africa, because there's no way I could believe that he did that, for, that was the first time it was ever done, because that's a skyscraper. You know what I'm saying? See, they were already developing in Africa. Many of those mastabas was in stone. A lot of them weren't in stone. It's just the quality of the stone. Just because you use stone don't mean it ain't gonna fall down. You got pyramids that fell down, and they had a outer stone casing, but it still wasn't on the level of the Great Pyramids. You see what I'm saying? But when you start talking about masonry, Imhotep is the Grand Master. He's the Grand Master. He's the first Grand Master of masonry. You understand? The great architect of masonry. Before any Hiram or any of that shit. Hiram is a myth. So we get off into the philosophical shit where they take the imagery of the square and the chisel and the hammer and all of that, and they use philosophically, because they know damn well they can't use it as an operative mason, because you go back to history, they were still living in caves. They didn't have no knowledge like that. You see what I'm saying? And so I have to state that the first masons, and masons is what? Those architects and that's building in stone. In stone. You understand? In stone. And so, Sumeria most definitely cannot even claim at all that they even, use stone. And then when they did use stone, it was late, late. Later in the, they had some statues, but when it came down to the ziggurats, which was probably would have been the most profound structures that they ever constructed, it was made in mud. And so the shit melted down, so they never developed to stone at all. To even claim to be the one that brought it into Africa, if you ain't never used stone, there's no way, because the people that constructed the pyramids had to be cutting stone and squaring stone, man, for hundreds of thousands of years to develop to that level. It's no fucking way that you can just come up with that. And so our people in Africa have been dealing with stone for hundreds of thousands of years, where the Sumerians were still using mud brick 4000 BC. They were still using mud brick. So that alone, you come and look at the Great Pyramids and you saying, damn, man, I tell people every time, when I got to the pyramids, I could not, I just tell her, I say, this shit is impossible. That's what I say. This is impossible here, man. This is impossible. How could I, and I know it's African, but like, damn, we was literally, man, like gods on this planet. You know what I'm saying? The knowledge that it took. And so when you go to Sumeria and so on and for, ain't nothing you see this. They're just like, this is the ziggurat of Ur. And they done built it up now. You know what I'm saying? They didn't put all type of little bricks around it. So, and it looked much like, they didn't put around. And so one who don't know no better would assume that, okay, this is coming from the ancient world. And it's not. It's nothing in Sumeria at all that's going to make you feel like the pyramid and put you in awe and say God's built this. You going to look at this and say, man, who the fuck built this? Who the fuck, man? You couldn't do no better than this. Y'all claiming these are the greatest peoples that have, and be real about it, that India is, when it comes to, me as a person, I'm just talking outside of Africa. When I speak of Egypt, I'm speaking of all of Africa, because all Africa share in the glory of Egypt. Outside of Africa, India would be number 2. You see what I'm saying as far as manifestation in greatness? Sumeria can't even claim to be greater than India, because it can't be. It's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not. When you go to India, because that was another citadel of our people, but you could go straight to India. You know what I'm saying? You could go straight to India, and much of southern India was lush and tropical. And so, you know what I'm saying? And so it was a more, sought after location. And like I said, the monsoons would bring you straight to India anyway. You got to go up into the Persian Gulf, which our African family did go up into the Persian Gulf and establish colonies. But they didn't even grow to be as great as the colony of India. It did not. When you compare the great manifestations and structure, and how they intricate our peoples had got into carving, even into the intricacy of the wall carvings and shit, to give them credit. You know what I'm saying? They was highly more profound than Sumeria. And so the only reason why they put Sumeria is the fact that Abraham, and even in his name, you see Ham, and people got to understand that that's a anagram. You see what I'm saying? Because within the root of it is showing you that not an anagram, but it's like a hidden term within someone's name to give you the true origin of where they got their energy from. So when you say Abraham, and you understand Ham is almost another term for Egypt, then you understand that the root and the science of all that what you talking about in the Bible stem out of Egypt, not no fucking Sumeria. Okay, when you start talking about the laws and shit, if they got the laws from Sumeria, then there wouldn't be no need for God to give them again. They didn't get no laws. So when you start talking about the ordinances and the laws that went into Israel, it was they got those laws and those ordinances in Africa. You see what I'm saying? They got him in the Sinai Peninsula, which is still in Africa today. And plus, they stayed over 420 years in Egypt, where they sat in the Nile, and they sat and saw how civilization is ran. They saw the operation of government and what it takes to run a nation. And so, they saw that. And so they didn't see nothing in no damn Sumeria. Most of the time, at the time, Sumeria was passed, and Babylon had passed, and Assyria had taken over, which was the northern portion of that civilization. But even at that, the northern portion, Assyria, was also founded by the Sudanese from top to bottom. But of course, the northern part would fall first. You understand what I'm saying? To the invaders, and that became their primary seat. The north, the foreigner, that became their primary seat. And so the Assyrians, became almost synonymous with a foreign race. You know what I'm saying? Became synonymous with a foreign race. And now when you start looking, I'm going to show you how they stole and how they put Sumeria over Egypt. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to show you. Now, look at this. So I can bring this shit up to y'all. This is old Champollion. See? Now, let me bring something up. Let me blow this shit up so y'all can see this even better. I'm going to blow this shit up so y'all can see this. Before he was ever, so you can see this. Before he was ever a so-called Egyptologist, you see right there, he was an Orientalist. You see, he was an Orientalist. So he was in the study of the Orient. He was studying that Hebrew. Motherfuckers say he studied Coptic. Yeah, he studied Coptic from an Arab. He studied Coptic from an Arab. Motherfuckers talking about he the one that, man, but y'all don't understand near that Afro-Asiatic shit. Niggas talking about, they act like because he said Coptic, to them ain't nothing but the bastard children of the Greeks and the Romans. Those are not African people. Them is goddamn bastard children of the Greeks and Romans. So, before any of them motherfuckers that you quote unquote call the Egyptologists, they were first Orientalists. You see what I'm saying? They was into proving the Bible. Them motherfuckers was over there in Sumer and Iraq and shit, and fucking with the ziggurats and shit, and fucking with them little clay cookies and shit. And man, when motherfucking Napoleon went in goddamn Egypt, and they got word of all these goddamn just thousands and thousands of temples and pyramids. Man, them motherfucker hot. Man, you could burnt rubber up out of Iraq. They like, we out of this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? They left that shit behind. You can't even really, man, you could go, and this motherfucker's all over Africa right now still digging. You got a couple of sprinkled, archaeologists in Iraq, but not really. They ain't over there like that. And so you see Champollion, he was an Orientalist. Even Wallace Budge. Now Wallace, he at first he spoke that the Nile Valley Africans was from the South. He did. But then when the Rothschilds got on his head, with the Jews, and a lot of people don't talk about how the Jews control Egyptology. You know what I'm saying? The Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, both of them, control, most historical digs all around the world. And so, at one point in time, one of the Rothschild brothers was he was the curator. He was the cure. He had bought in. He owned part of the British Museum, so everything had to go through him. So in one of Wallace Budge books, you see what I'm saying? He gave thanks to the Rothschild for giving him permission, and it says he for giving him permission to write the book. So that just show you how much power that the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers have over Egyptology, man. You know what I'm saying? Even Rockefeller gave Adolf Ehrman, who was responsible for the largest development of what they call hieroglyphics today, that fucking the great encyclopedias of Egyptology that was written under Adolf Ehrman, Grotpal, all the great Egyptologists of that day came up under Adolf Ehrman. It was fucking John D. Rockefeller that funded that study. And don't no fucking body talk about that. You see what I'm saying? He funded that shit. Okay, so when you look at Wallace Budge, what you see right there? Orientalists. The Orient, they was into Mesopotamia. Even the motherfucker, what's his name? That was the first he was the first curator of the British Museum. He didn't know shit about Egypt at all. This motherfucker had a degree in Chinese. He was, he had a degree in Chinese. You know what I'm saying? He had a fucking degree in Chinese. He didn't even know nothing about Africa. So there again, you see, they was over in Asia. And so now when you go to Chicago, and you go to what? You go to the Oriental Institute. You know what I'm saying? That was founded by James Henry Breasted, the first chair of Egyptology in America. Nobody's talking. When I say chair, what does that mean? Where you able to give out degrees in Egyptology. And to James Henry Breasted, America didn't have no department where they gave out degrees in Egyptology. Either you went to Britain or you went to Germany. And Germany was the citadel of Egyptology. A lot of people not talking about that. You had to go to Germany. That's where what's that English motherfucker that everybody try to Gardner. He went to damn Germany. He was under Gardner was up under Kurt Seth. He was under Kurt Seth, who was a student of Adolf Ehrman. You see what I'm saying? So that's where even Gardner and the other guy that was under Gardner, what's that other motherfucker that was under Gardner? I forget his name, another English motherfucker. So they had it. At that time, you had to go to Germany to get your degree. And so James Henry Breasted, he got his degree in Germany. That's where he got his degree from. He got his degree from Germany. That's where he got his degree from. But he became a chair. And so for the first time, you was able to get a degree in America. Okay, but you got to understand, even though he claimed to be an Egyptologist, he founded, along with John D. Rockefeller, the Oriental Institute, and all of the studies of Nubia and all of that is in that institute, Oriental Institute. And then lastly, here you go, John D. Rockefeller and so on and so forth. So he's responsible for that great, and so again, majority of the so-called quote unquote Egyptologists were Orientalists first. They was looking to prove the Bible to be the correct method of history. And so all those Orientalists, once Napoleon rocked the world, conquering Egypt and showing the world that Egypt was the foundation of all civilization, then all the Orientalists came into the Egyptian studies. All the Orientalists became, and a lot of them motherfuckers was speaking Hebrew, because that's what Orientalists, they speak in the so-called, which ain't Hebrew, ain't nothing but Yiddish and goddamn Arabic. That's what it is. Tazariak. And I spoke his name, I'll speak it out again. Tazariak. You understand what I'm saying? And you can hear Tazar. Tazar. You hear the czar in that shit. Tazar. Tazar. Tazariak. Nigga, you got a goddamn Slavic name, nigga. That shit ain't nothing but Yiddish and fucking Arabic. You know, I seen how they put that damn Hebrew together. They got Yiddish and German on top of Arabic. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's, in quote unquote, that's who put Samaria, all the Orientalists, they kind of clicked together, and they the ones that start promoting that, that Sumeria was older than Egypt and so on and so forth, when they knew goddamn well that that was not true. And it was a couple that stood out, but it was a lot of, but they didn't get the acclaim that majority of the Egyptologists got today. You see what I'm saying? They did not get the acclaim that a lot of the and so Budge was one of those who said that the little Twa, and and then you had Gerald Massey. But Gerald Massey came up on, and I had to, Gerald Massey must have went and did some research, but he kind of swerved from his teacher, because his teacher was that same cat that was at the what was that cat's name? I hate not knowing his motherfucking. I know it, but I ain't been calling it. Ain't been calling it in a minute. I want to know his name right now. Fuck that. Get his name. What's that motherfucking name, man? I need to get on. I need to have it. List of keepers of the British Museum. Here you go. He not the first one. They got Wallace Budge, but he trained Wallace Budge. He trained Wallace Budge. That's not him. I'm gonna get his name. Hold on, cause y'all might want to go. Y'all might want to go and look this motherfucker up. What's this motherfucker's name? Damn, man, I used to know that shit. That shit crazy, man. That shit crazy. I might not be able to find it today. I might not be able to find it today. Wallace Budge. Let me wait a minute. Hold on. Let me see if they go. If I look up under Wallace Budge, if I early life. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Samuel Birch. That's it. Samuel Birch. He was the first curator. You understand what I'm saying? But he was the first. He was the he was the curator of keeper of Oriental antiquities. And then when the British Museum started to get ancient Egypt artifacts, they gave him that position to kind of catalog it. So Samuel Birch was they just had statues and just in the basement. They didn't have it cataloged. And so Samuel Birch was the first one to kind of catalog it and gave it some structure. He didn't know nothing about no ancient Egypt. His degree was in Chinese. But while Wallace Budge studied under Samuel Birch and Gerald Massey. A lot of people don't know, Gerald Massey, who wrote, Egypt, Light of the World, and all the other books, But Gerald Massey came up under Samuel Birch too, and so this just to show you who was in control of the Egyptian collections. They was people who were studying or had degrees in Oriental studies. And so that's how Sumeria took supremacy over Egypt. It wasn't based on, the facts of the matter. You know what I'm saying? The facts was they had already said that Egypt was African and black. And so they could not come and they couldn't find themselves given, that kind of credit to African people. So though they knew, you can even see it in their Freemasonry, how they just began to adopt all type of Egyptian regalia, and you go to the cemeteries and they buried in, they loved Egypt. You don't see nothing like that. You didn't see them have no Sumerian mania where they start taking all these Sumerian shit and all that, but the Egyptian mania just, that shit just overtook Europe and the European mind. And so you could see that they understood that Egypt was the greatest source of civilization ever on this planet, including all of the Nile. And so only through trying to continue to promote the lies of the Bible is how they continue to promote Sumeria over Egypt. That's it. You know what I'm saying? We give the credit at the origins of those civilizations that, yes, they were African. We give credit, and there's still some African evidence left there. If you go over there, even Persepolis in Iran, which was Elam, but even in the Greek tales, and I'm about to get out of here. Even in the Greek tales, they say Memnon, who was the king of Ethiopia, is the one that went and built Susa. You see what I'm saying? Susa was the capital of Elam, which was in modern day Iran. So, when you start talking about, let me run these things off so I make sure that I don't miss nothing. That and that was another powerful fact that even the Greeks said that Memnon, king of Ethiopia, and even in the Greek story, the brother Memnon, father was the brother of the king of Egypt. So even in the Greek, they was brothers. Even in the Hebraic script, they was brothers. And so once you understand that they was black, and the Greeks also said that they was black. Ethiopia means burnt faces. So if you brother to Ethiopia, the burnt face, you burnt face. And so that's one reason why they could not give credit to Egypt as, the Nile Valley as the source of all civilization, was the fact that it was the home of the African race. You know what I'm saying? And when you got down to the root of even Samaria, that they knew, but the fact they had to continue to promote Abraham and all this shit and all this Jacob, and that was the main reason and why they did that. That was the main reason why they did that. And it says also, out of Egypt I have called my son. Out of Egypt I have called my son. And and lastly, even when you talk about the Garden of Eden, even the Garden of Eden, it says the first river, and I count, it was only 4 rivers. The first river was I believe was Pison. The second river, it was Gihon. You understand what I'm saying? Wait a minute, let me get that right. I believe the first one was Pison. The second one was Gihon. And I'm going to end it with that. Oh, there it is right there. Here we go. They don't never want to just take me where the fuck I need to go. I believe it's two. That's right. Here we go. And the river went out of Eden. It was 2:10. It says, and the river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became unto four heads. The first one was Pison, that it was the whole land of Havilah, where there's gold. That's Nubia. The name of the second river is Gihon. The same is that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel, that which goeth towards the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. So it shows you, even in the Garden of Eden, that Africa took precedence over the colonies in so-called Asia, or some people say Northeast Africa. But just to clarify that, you know what I'm saying? And though we understand Nimrod was a Cushite, he was the son of Ethiopia, and he was the nephew of ancient Egypt. You see, so there's no way. I don't know how people is doing their research, but there's no way, even from the Bible standpoint, where you could put Sumeria over ancient Egypt. There's just no way that that's possible. All right, family. Thank y'all for being here today. What a beautiful lesson. We'll back it up because I know we're going to, they want some smoke. And I'm ready at any given time to back it up. Okay, family. Thank you for being here. Check the links. KingSeti.com, GeneralSeti.com, Patreon, General Sarah Seti. The Black Woman is God. Mother's Day edition, May 8th. Man, be in the house is going to be powerful. This is the General saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black Power.